Hey folks, so today I have a philosophical Wednesday about the software design, and um, I want to talk today about my favorite topics. I want to talk about the privacy and privacy first, artificial intelligence, but maybe more about the privacy in general in a software design, because we all know that privacy matter, but the more and more sincerely beginning to getting feedback that privacy is hard, it's hard to achieve in a modern internet systems. Uh, it's practically privacy doesn't exist anymore. You have nothing to hide, and you have a lot of these messages from the different companies and from the different people. And in short, privacy really matter, and yeah, and it's not so hard if you follow the privacy by design principles and just care about this. So and yeah, we have a war between you know people who build the software and businesses who wants to overcollect your data, and they keen to know more about you, and instead of explicit knowledge and asking you about your preferences and all other things, they try to derive something from your behavior on their platform. And this mechanism actually it's globally broken, and I hope that the initiative with the UD the tendency to create the user-centric world where data belongs to the user, and they're not locked on the platform, actually will create more fair and more private space for everybody. But right now we're not there, and we have completely different dimension of privacy right now. With the age of the artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence agents, and uh, for me, the big discovery was for sure that a lot of users is not aware about the privacy, and a lot of users doesn't really care about the privacy. And if you will talk about some privacy with the business and product people, they will say, "Ah, we made the research. Nobody wants it." But it's not working this way, because nobody wants it until something happens with their data, with their identity, and data gets leaked and all those things. So we as engineers and we as product builders needs to care about the privacy for sure, even if you're not selling the privacy as a benefit of the product, because in the privacy and cybersecurity, it's the question when something will happen, not if something will happen. And for sure, we need to build the systems that are reliable, that are privacy focused, um, and we need to talk with the user about privacy in a different angle. We need to talk not about something horrible things and all the thing, because it's the negative talk. We need to talk about the privacy in terms of vulnerability. So imagine if your colleague stay in a workroom and just have your phone unlocked and scrolling your messages. Yeah, so what will happen and all other things. So this vulnerability moment, the help users understand better about the privacy, and we couldn't build a proper privacy strategy without the user, because if you will take a look to the privacy by design document, you will see that it's user-centric, but it's involve the user to the system. So you build the system around the user, and you educate the user about the privacy. You educate the user behavior and all other things. So you could not build the privacy system without privacy aware and responsible users. And it's yet another thing that, yeah, quite often misunderstood by products and builders, that they just wants to build the product that are super intuitive. They scare to teach the users, to talk to the users about some complex things. But in terms of privacy, it's really matter that People understand the concepts, people understand their rights, people understand what's happening with their data, and without the user education, the proper privacy system could not be built. And all this applied to the new branch, the privacy first artificial intelligence. Yeah, so we need to explain to people that if they use some public LLM, they contribute to machine learning. They contribute to their data to be analyzed, integrated, and used maybe even against themselves. And I really deeply believe on the privacy first artificial intelligence agents, because without the privacy we could not do a lot with our personal data, with our sensitive talks, with our sensitive thoughts, and all other things. So if you really want to have the personal agent, it should be privacy focused, and we need to make sure that our data stay with us, and our data is not used to harm us, to form some analytics that will be used against our own group of people and all of these things. And when we uh, talking about the privacy, we quite often um, could see that we're not collecting the data, or we're not collecting the personal data, but we're just collecting the metadata. And it's yet another broken concept, because metadata could be sensitive. The metadata could contribute to this mosaic effect of the privacy data, that um, having couple of data points that not directly connected to the PI data, you could reconstruct the identity of the person. And yeah, and not always even you need to identify the user. For example, in MyKeen right now, we don't have identity system, because all the user data stay on device. We don't have the interaction with this data, and maybe in future when we introduce the cross-device sync, we will have some basic identity, but this identity will be semi-anonymous identity or pseudo-anonymous identity. So identity and privacy goes together for sure, but we need to be care not only about the PII that regulated by the GDPR, but we need to take care about the metadata, the traceability things, and all of stuff. Because even this um, data sets that in the first point doesn't contain any identity information could be used to identify user in the future. And yeah, to summarize, that privacy is not hard. It's different process. Privacy requires the involvement of the user and education of the user. The future of the artificial intelligence agents really should be privacy focused, because without the privacy, first, we could not truly mm, connect an agent to the sensitive information, to the sensitive data, to the sensitive talks, to solve some hard problems, and all other things. And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We already have the privacy by design. We already have the privacy focused architectures, like, for example, local fast architectures that tries to keep the data local, tries to keep the data in the hands of the user, tries to limit the access to the data. Also, together with the privacy by design and the local fast architectures, we have the self-sovereign identity principles, and self-sovereign identity principles also support the privacy, good privacy metrics. And it's mainly about the minimization of disclosure. It's access rights, the ownership, and all those things. So we just disclose the amount of data uh, and that's really needed to do the operation. And we have a lot of patterns that allow us really minimize the access to the data. And self-sovereign identity systems help us to do so. In the same time, every time when some transaction about the data happens in a local fast and self-sovereign powered systems, users should be aware. So users should give the consent, or user should make some rules that for this particular request, I always give the consent, and user could have the ability to revoke this consent and all other things. So I wrote gazillions of articles over a couple of years about the privacy, the self-sovereign identity and privacy. And right now we are applying all this self-sovereign identity, local fast and privacy fast principles to our core architecture to build the privacy first artificial intelligence and give you the awareness of what's happening with your data, give the data back to your hands. And actually, I really believe that the privacy, it's not just about the data, but in our artificial intelligence world, it's the part of the artificial intelligence ethics, because without the privacy focused respect to the user, we could not build the ethical artificial intelligence. So it's a wide topic, and I want to talk more about this topic in the future because I really believe that it's one of the cornerstones that will help us to build better agents, better data interaction, and more fair world in the future. So see you next time. Choose.